So this was kind of the next point was
Mhm.
we had a couple weeks ago, or I think it was last week, that Rule did a thing at the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce,
Yeah.
and a ton of great quotes. And you can go out to YouTube and you can watch this whole video.
I wish he
But
wasn't so awkward in public, Jeez, that guy.
but this one in particular really, I think, struck something with us, and it was we don't believe that some ghost controls winning. We don't believe the refs do. We don't believe the Big Ten is out to get us. We own the results, and that's a powerful thing. That's what Coach Rule said. And I really like that.
I love that.
I like that in the sense that it is eliminating excuses. And I think this is something that Husker Nation also, we've done all these things with exercising the demons and breaking curses and bringing souls back. We almost just need to go through and whatever the thing that happened in the past was, it's the 1 second against Texas, or it's Kevin Warren, or it was whatever it is, the COVID year, the things that we still point back to and say, yeah, but this thing happened to us. We need to just burn all that stuff and just say enough. It's over. And
it would be nice.
And it's completely not productive moving forward.
Right.
And I did the thing I don't ever want to do. There were some people on Twitter that were sitting there saying, yeah, but we were getting hosed against Michigan a couple of years ago when Martinez fumbled that football.
Yeah.
We got hosed against Michigan. I literally had to go and find stuff where earlier in that game, we score a touchdown where Austin Allen is in the backfield and it's an illegal formation. They don't call it. And it's we've benefited from calls too. They're not out to get us, but let's just get past that. And I think Coach Rhule coming out there and just saying it that way. No one's out to get us.
Nope.
Let's go play good football. Let's stop with the pre-snap penalties and let's play good football.
Yeah, no, I get why he would say that.
Or do you disagree?
I don't disagree. I don't know, man. Sometimes I can get way in my feels on those. I do feel like sometimes they boned us, but it's, to your point though, it's not productive, and he's right. You own that. It's like what he said before. Bad football teams make bad plays, and that's what we did. We were a bad football team. We made bad plays. If we were a good football team, we'd make good plays. It wasn't a talent thing. It's how good of a team. Abby, to answer your question, I'm going to say 2 ducks.
Yeah, she said 2.
Damn it! Did she already answer?
Yeah, no, she already did. It was 2 ducks.
I could barely read that, but I was going to be my guess.
Yeah, she goes, what has 4 legs and quacks, 2 ducks? She also just said, okay, but Kevin Warren was out to get us, and I will die on that hill. And I am okay with that, Abby, but we got to throw it behind us now because he's not with the Big Ten anymore, and it's time.
He can't hurt us anymore.
He can't hurt us anymore. It's time to move forward. It's time and I think that's what Coach Rhule wants to do. I think that's the positive thing about this conversation is that I think it's his way of saying, let's move forward. Let's take all that. He just
seems
energy.
Like such an adult. He just seems like such a leader.
Yeah.
Guys, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. We've got to own our own results. We've got to be good enough to overcome that stuff. I mean, look, it was, we always go back like this, but you remember the Florida State game where we almost won, and you had the William Floyd fumble at the goal line, blah blah blah.
Corey Dixon's punt return that was called back,
and it was just a lot of shit that just kept kind of piling up on us, and that sucked and that hurt that at that moment. But what did that catapult that team to do? I'm like, did they screw us over a little bit? A little bit they did, but that was the mantra for the next season, where they come out and they win all those games.
Unfinished business.
So even if you kind of believe it's true, use it, focus it, and don't ever let them deny you again. And that's what good teams do. It drives me nuts to bitch and moan about things that you have no control. You can't control the refs. You can't control the weather. You can't control the other fans. You can only control what you're doing yourself. And I know I feel like in my bones, that's what Matt Rhule is saying all the time. Well, it's like, we control us.
What I love about he's talked about with practice and everything, and then living it in practice. We're going to be physical, and we're going to get the quarterbacks, take the green jerseys off. But he's also talked about situational football and how important that is.
Very Bill Belichick-y.
Well, and I think about this is just one little anecdote, but just one moment of it. Think back to the 2020 first game against Ohio State. Okay, so we had just said we'll play anyone anywhere. That was one of the things that Frost basically said, and Big Ten gave us Ohio State in week 1, right?
Yeah, they sure did.
But guess what? Go back and watch that game. In 3 minutes left in the first half, they're punting the ball to us. Ohio State is punting the ball to us, and we're down 3.
Yeah,
we've run the ball pretty successfully on them, and all I could think of was when it went to a commercial break. I'm sitting there with my buddies watching it, and I'm like, we don't need to score. We don't need to do anything more than get one first down. One first down
Yeah.
situationally moves the clock to the point where we get to
Right.
halftime down 3,
Right.
and we're going to kick the ball to them first in the second half. These are the things we know. There's your situation. So we need to be ready to get out there and get one first down. Can we do that? Can we get 3.5 yards of play? If we can do that, we control the rest of this half. And I think most people would be pretty happy being down 3 on the road to start the year. So what happens? We come out of the timeout, and those Big Ten refs were ready to screw us, right? No, we weren't ready to do anything. We had to delay a game.
God, that's right.
We had to delay a game before the first down.
Yeah.
And then we stopped the clock, I think twice on incompletions, and we're kicking the ball back to them with plenty of time for them to turn back around, score one last time before half. Now you're down double digits, and you're kicking the ball to them to begin the second half. Situational football.
over.
The refs didn't screw us.
Nope.
We screwed us.
Yep.
And that's those moments where we've got to be better than that. Okay. And so absolutely. And I love Abby. So, I mean, I love the talks that we've had about, Kevin Warren, those things in the past, and they all remain true. It's just moving forward, we need to stop making those mistakes, shooting ourselves in the foot, playing situations better. And I love the fact that Coach Rhule has harped on that.
Yeah.
On those things so hard.
Yep. He understands the game. And I think that's probably my favorite thing about it. He just seems like he's got kind of an answer for some things. Like, going forward, we're not bashing on the past. Like it is what it is. I wasn't thrilled with all of it, but I was totally on board when it was happening. I was a Frost guy from jump and until it
all
melted down. So, but the situational football killed us under Frost. It just killed us. And that could have been his inexperience. It probably was his inexperience and also being in a very difficult football league. Like the Big Ten has a bunch of really good coaches and they will exploit your weaknesses. And then that's what they did. And we didn't adjust very well to it. I don't think that's going to be the case with Rhule. Now that's just me being that's not just me being overly optimistic. That's based on his history, and he's been in Power 5 conferences before and he's had success. But also a lot of it is just how he talks. Like, we made a big point that one year, and this isn't to bash Frost. It's just an example of the difference. We made that, Frost had that opening. He was the first speaker at that Big Ten media days, and he didn't have an opening statement at all. He didn't have anything ready to go. And it was just, let's take questions. Fast forward to Matt Rhule at a Chamber of Commerce meeting. He's got a PowerPoint that he's talking to in real time. And just, he's ready. He's prepared. You can tell he just sits up at night and thinks about how to structure this team and how to put it together and what my coaches need to do. He's a leader of his coaches. He's a leader of his players. He's a leader of his program. I feel like he's one of those guys who's got his finger in a little bit of everything that's going on in that program, which is what you need if you're going to be big time. I feel like, I don't know this, but I bet Nick Saban's fairly involved. I bet there's not a lot of stuff that goes on at Alabama that Nick Saban doesn't have some sort of opinion on, or Dabo Swinney or any of the really good coaches. So that's what he brings to me that I feel like we needed so badly. I mean, again, the results are strictly on the field. Like all this other stuff is fluff, and I don't really care if he's a really good public speaker. If we go out and we're 0-3 to begin the season, it's really going to bother me. But the what he projects, the air that he projects to me says adult, leader, prepared. He's almost consumed by it. He seems like one of those guys like Trev wanted. He's a grinder. This is what he does. This is what he thinks about. Here's a guy who could make millions. No, if it was me and I had a contract where I could sit at home and pull in millions, best believe I'm at home. I'm not recruiting. I'm not setting up camps. I'm not talking to the Chamber of Commerce. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm not even going to golf. I'm just going to rake it in. This dude's built different. He's built different.